What's up, guys? So welcome back to day 4 of using OpenClaw to babysit our trading scripts, or OpenClaw being so frustrated that we give up and do things back manually on our own. Today I want to go over something I've learned over the last couple of days, which I think is one of the best features of OpenClaw for running your trading scripts, and that is letting it fix things while you either sleep or are out or at the gym or whatever. And so you can see on the right hand side, this is the Polymarket account that we have it operating on. I'm actually doing that in this test account for now that I said in the other video because I don't want to give it access to my real scripts until we figure out all the life cycle of having it deploy things correctly, do health checks, fix scripts, actually know how to query Polymarket, all those kind of things. And right now we're doing these limit orders and selling the volatility on oil, specifically on this crude oil market, as you can see here. So we're up $150 in the other one. Now we're up $123. Profit went down a little bit, but again, the point of this series is not to actually turn a bunch of profit with these things in this series, is actually just to test out OpenClaw and see if it is useful or if it's just super annoying. But the feature that I really like so far is this whole thing of having it work for you while you're out doing something else. And this is what I think differentiates it between doing something like just going to Claude Code or vibe coding scripts yourself or having to prompt the agent all the time. The cool part about OpenClaw is it actually just does things on its own. So you can see here on the left-hand side, it actually goes and does checks for me every hour. And I'll show you how I did this. But what it does is it shows a report on all the Polymarket jobs that it has running. So it's running on all these different markets at the same time. And then when nothing's wrong, it just tells me the P&L and it says the status, and it gives me more detailed breakdowns. So I could just quickly check Telegram, see how the markets are doing. But then sometimes it'll have issues. And so you can see in this 4 p.m. report here, it says flags, and it flagged 3 issues, but really small issues. And it decided that they were small enough to ignore because they were 11 shares is, I think, less than $1 or something. So it's, or maybe a couple of dollars. So it's not even worth investigating because it's so little. But then sometimes it actually goes and fixes things on its own right now. And so this was from yesterday when it actually, during one of the health checks, it found something was wrong with the one of the markets. And so you can see here all the investigation it did. So it basically, there was something wrong with the take profits. Like I think Polymarket might have canceled them for some reason, or maybe they partially filled and they got canceled. Sometimes Polymarket does that. I've noticed that in the past. But anyways, it did all this investigation and ended up actually fixing the bug on its own. Because again, it's not really a bug in the code. It's really that Polymarket, there was a bunch of take profits for one of these markets, and Polymarket canceled the take profits, so our code should actually heal itself by placing the take profits again. And so all this little like state management issues, it's like, yes, you can code, of course, like, you know, deterministic code that will say if this is missing, then add this, if that, whatever. But it's way easier, just like if you had an employee, just to tell them, hey, every hour or every 10 minutes or every minute, go see if these things match on the accounting side, and if they don't match, go do whatever it takes to fix them. So either place the sell order or just mark that we already sold it if we didn't realize we sold it in the code. It's super easy. This is way easier. You don't have to code anything. You just can tell this. And this is why I love OpenClaw currently, because I can not have to code stuff myself or write this really rigid code to do stuff with my trading scripts. It just goes and figures out differences for me. As you can see here, it even figured out the drift. Like we had an 18 share drift. And so then it placed the take profit after this just to account for that, which is amazing. Okay, so how did I actually do this and how can you do this too? Well, originally I had said, each hour do this, have some job like Sonnet, which is a cheaper model than Opus, which is what I'm using. Go look into the server, look at the logs and make sure no errors. Plus it should try to get positions from the API and see if the position count matches what the state is saying, then send the diagnosis here. So how you could do it, and you're gonna have a different thing you want done because everyone has different trading things they want done. But essentially what you can do is you can say every hour or every time period, do this. And then you give it what you would do or what you would want someone to do in plain English. And that's, I think, one of the coolest parts of these AI models is that instead of you having to like write this extremely detailed report, I literally just said in basically plain English, every hour, go check the logs, see if there's any errors, tell me if there's errors, and then also just try fixing the errors if you see them. That's it. Like just like how you say it in plain English to an employee instead of like coding some very strong deterministic code, you could just say in plain English, go do this. So that's all you really need to do. You need to treat these things like they are people in a way and just talk in plain English to them and they will answer and respond. And then it even gave back what it would do. And so it says, done, this was a couple days ago, fires each hour on the hour, sound SSHs into the script, and then it gave me the steps of what it's going to do, which is, again, all of this stuff, like if you coded this, you'd have to figure out if the code was actually working, you'd have to test it, everything like that. Just having like a very abstract worker for you do this kind of stuff is unreal, and it's really like the equivalent of having a developer working for you right now. Okay, so then one of the things I've seen online is a trick where if you want to know how to do something, you ask the LLM what it thinks is the best way. So that before I said what I did to do this, and then I asked in here, the OpenClaw, tell me what's the right way to tell an OpenClaw each hour to check my script logs, see what's wrong, and auto-fix things on your own authority. Don't do this yourself right now or change your existing systems. I'm just asking a hypothetical question because obviously I don't want to change what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing this for this video and to learn myself what the OpenClaw actually thinks is the right way. So this has actually gave us 3 ways to do this in the future. So 3 ways if we want the OpenClaw to do something for our trading scripts, how to structure it to do some kind of task every hour or every time period. First one is cron plus inline task. And it says a cron job with a detailed task prompt that tells the agent exactly what to check and what fixes are pre-authorized. So this one sounds pretty more rigid, but at the same time, because it's rigid, it's not going to go mess things up on your server because it knows exactly what to do. So it says SSH into the IP, check logs for each bot screen. If you find dead screen, restart it. Missing cells, replace them. Balance errors, log but don't act. Report what you fixed and what needs human review. And then it says the task prompt is the authority boundary. You spell out exactly what fixes are autonomous and require escalations. This is, again, if you want really more hands-on, you want to be careful with these things so they don't screw up your stuff. Then the second way is to write a skill.md. The cron task just says follow the auto healer skill. So this is about skills. I actually don't know much about these, but I know people say that these are the way to go. So you create this skill file, and then you outline things in it, and then it allows almost like a playbook, I think. Third one, heartbeat plus heartbeat.md conversational. Add the checks to heartbeat. That's another part of OpenClaw that is like something that I think is periodically called. It says advantage is full conversation history and memory context. Disadvantage, it burns main session token. So obviously, if you don't want to use too many tokens, don't use this one. Then it said for me personally, it said the right answer is set up 1 or 2. Here's why. Isolation. Cron sessions are sandboxed. This is what I said before, so it doesn't mess up many things. Authority boundary, like I said before, 2, audibility, etc. And then it actually gave me a recommendation. So again, we don't have to use the recommendation. It's just if we want to use it, we can, which is pretty cool. So that's what it said to do. Again, the way I did it was just typing in more in plain English. And I think it probably created the cron job one. I think that's what it told me before. But again, we could use any of these 3 things. I think one of the things that if you're running your own trading scripts, whether you're a developer or not a developer, don't have much time, you really can rely and you can really try using these things to do a bunch of work for you that you either don't want to do or just don't have the time to do. And my goal with this thing is to do as much work for me as possible so I can actually go and investigate other things. And one of the best things to do is to have it run these checks for you and fix your code so you don't have to be sitting there fixing code and doing these checks all the time. And these things can literally do this every half hour, every 10 minutes, whatever you want. And also, especially while you sleep, while you're out, whatever. And so that's it for today's episode. This is a very small idea of like having this thing do checks for you, but it is literally one of the biggest pain points of running your own trading scripts. And so I'm very happy that this thing's actually been working pretty well. Again, it's day 4 already, so it's taking some time to figure this stuff out, but I think it's well worth it in the future. So let me know if you're running OpenClaw for trading scripts. I want to hear your opinions and thoughts on it in the comments, and see you guys in day 5.